Eala shares court with Spain's tennis legend Rafael Nadal in training. Spanish tennis legend Rafael Nadal returned to court for the first time since his retirement, and out of all people in the world, he shared it with no less than the Filipina star Eala. 1 year later, it felt great to be back on a tennis court. It was great to practice with you, Alex. Next time, I will be stronger. Mr. Nadal beamed after a training session with a fellow lefty expert in Eala at his own academy in Mallorca, Spain. The 39-year-old Spaniard shared a video of his court comeback with Eala, as well as a photo with the Filipina's parents and another rising tennis star and her brother Eala from Pennsylvania State University in the United States. The historic encounter, with already 1 million engagements and reactions across all social media platforms, was also posted by Eala and the Rafa Nadal Academy, RNA, an institution he founded in 2016 for the future tennis stars like Eala. A truly unique day at the academy. Eala, on court with Rafa Nadal, 1 year after his last match at the Davis Cup. Incredible to see him back on court, sharing his passion and knowledge, said the RNA, who welcomed Eala as a potential star in 2018. Mr. Nadal retired last November at home after Spain's quarterfinal exit in the Davis Cup quarterfinals in Malaga, capping his storied career with 22 Grand Slam titles before living a private life with his family in Manacor, Spain. Since his absence, one of his protégés in Eala has risen to the ranks as one of the world's youngest stars, now at number 50 in the Women's Tennis Association WTA. Eala, a proud graduate of the RNA in 2023, is the first Filipina to barge into the WTA's top 50 on top of equally historic feats, with a breakthrough title in Guadalajara, Mexico. The 20-year-old Eala also became the first Filipina to win in the main draw of any Grand Slam, stunning then world number 15 Clara Tauson of Denmark in the U.S. Open. With teachings from Mr. Nadal himself, the sky's the limit for Eala, who is slated to represent the country in the 33rd Southeast Asian Games in Thailand and the Macau Tennis Masters exhibition, along with the sports legends and stars next month. Eala is also set for a possible home tourney when the Philippine Sports Commission and the Philippine Tennis Association finalize the hosting of WTA Tour Leg, to be branded as the Philippine or Manila Open early next year. And good thing for Eala, she will have an iconic mentor at her own base in RNA to guide her all the way home to glory and more history for Philippine tennis. John Bryan Yolande, where the lines meet, Eala and the Nadal court. The balmy sun of Mallorca rested softly on the clay as Eala tightened the grip on her racket, trying not to let her hands reveal the tremor she felt inside. The court, familiar yet different, looked almost ceremonial this morning, freshly brushed, lines pearly and sharp, red dust immaculate. It was a place she had trained in countless times, a place her shoes had grown used to, where her footwork and dreams had been sharpened day after day. But today was different. Today, Rafael Nadal would share the court with her. A breeze pulled at the ends of her ponytail as she inhaled deeply. Around her, the Rafa Nadal Academy stirred with its usual rhythm, footsteps of junior players shuffling in training lanes, balls echoing off distant walls, the faint murmur of coaches directing movement drills. But in the court she stood on, time seemed slower, thicker, like the air itself was holding its breath for the encounter. She dropped a ball and bounced it once, then twice. Her heartbeat formed a rhythm against her ribcage. For a moment, she saw herself as a much younger girl, 10 years old, sitting in front of a television in Manila, watching Nadal sprint across the Roland Garros baseline like the red clay there had been molded for him. She had watched how he chased every ball with a fire that felt contagious, how he clenched his fists after each point not with arrogance, but with fierce gratitude. To her young and eager eyes, he had looked like a warrior molded by grit and wounded by sweat, who bowed only to the sport itself. She had wanted to be like that. And now, years later, after victories and losses, sacrifices, and countless training days under the Spanish sun, she found herself stepping onto the same clay as the man who had shaped the path she chose. A shadow stretched across the ground. "Buenos dias," came a familiar voice, warm, steady, carrying a calm that needed no introduction. Alex turned. There he was, Rafael Nadal, in a simple sleeveless training shirt, shorts, and that unmistakable aura of humility and force. He stepped onto the court with the relaxed confidence of someone who had fought and won battles on the grandest stages. Alex smiled automatically. Buenos dias, Rafa. He nodded with a gentle grin, the kind that softened the intensity of his presence. Ready, she nodded, fighting the urge to overthink the word. As ready as I can be. Good, he said with that familiar competitive gleam in his eyes. Let's enjoy. They began with warm-up rallies, slow, rhythmic strokes from baseline to baseline. Nadal's shots were measured but precise, each ball landing with intention. Alex mirrored his pace, reminding herself not to rush, not to prove anything too early. There was a gravity to his ball that she had only heard described by others. Now she felt it firsthand, the rotations, the heaviness, the spin that seemed to rise after bouncing. You adjust well to the spin, Nadal said between rallies. Thank you, Alex replied, breath steady. I had good coaches. He chuckled. I know some of them. Their rallies grew longer, faster. The balls flew in arcs of red dust as they cut through the air, and Alex could feel her determination ignite with every exchange. She didn't want to simply return the ball. She wanted to match him stroke for stroke, pace for pace. After several minutes, Nadal raised a hand to pause. Take water, he said. Alex nodded but kept her breath under control. She knew she was sweating more from the surrealness of the moment than the heat. As she drank, Nadal walked toward the net. You improved your backhand down the line, he said. It's more confident now. Alex almost choked on her water. You noticed. He shrugged. I watch the players training here, especially the ones who work hard. The compliment warmed her chest, not with vanity but with validation. She had worked hard for years to reach where she was now. Countless early mornings, countless nights where she iced sore muscles, countless times she questioned if she would ever reach the heights she once dreamed of.